Day 24 in Eric's 1962 Chevy pickup. I've been staring at this interior for the whole time I've been working on it, and I just can't stand it. So, even though we're just a little bit over budget, we're going to go ahead and we're going to clean that up, and we're going to go ahead and paint it now. You can see that when the windshield is out, it's going to be a lot easier to paint this right here. I've already got the rubber for the back. We can see that we've got rust going on around here, and we've got a little bit going on around in here. So we were planning on taking this out anyway. When this is out, there's really not a hell of a lot to paint. You can see the dash and isn't that much. Maybe the roof is something. So went to the paint store and got a couple of different colors to see what looks like it'll match up the best. And what I'll be doing is a two-tone with a white that matches the interior, and then the interior paint on the dash and everything had a little bit of a pearl in it. So we've got some light silvers, some light golds to shoot on there and see what matches up the best. So let's see how far we get today. So our windshield is sitting in the hot sun, and what I'll do every once in a while is make sure that it's down on there securely, and I'll tighten up the tape if necessary. And we'll just let this continue to sit in the hot sun and mold around that glass as long as we can. And while we're waiting for that, we'll go ahead and start on our cab. We'll cover up everything we need to, take out that rear window, clean up all the residual rust around here and there's, and clean it up again. And then we'll primer it all up. So let's see. So I started out this morning in my junkyard in the backyard, and I found some of my old alternator brackets off of whatever the hell it came off of. So it looks like it's going to work. We're going to bolt it up and see if it does, and then we'll paint it. So what I'm going to do now is just a cheap way of seeing if the alternators are working or not. So all you have to do is get the car running. You simply disconnect the battery cable. If it dies, then the alternator's not working. But your alternator has to go up to about 1500 RPMs or so before it kind of turns on, so to speak. So we'll rev up the RPMs, we'll make sure it's on, so to speak. We'll bring it back down, we'll double check. Okay, so that means we got an alternator problem somewhere, so we'll figure that out when we get some time. Okay, so actually the alternator is working. It's just I disconnected my power line. So you have to disconnect your negative cable in order to see if the alternator is working correctly. If you have this main power lead here going to the positive. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so now I'm going to take out my heater core, which is these two pipes right here. But I have to take the heater off in order to get it. The heater is held on by 3 bolts right here that are 7/16. And then on the inside here, we've got a wire that is incorrectly on our heater motor. We've got a relay, not a relay, but a temperature switch here that's burned out. And you can see that we just have to take off these little things here. And we have to remove the cable here, so you just unscrew this here. This has a little clamp kind of thing on top of it you can slide off. We'll be taking a radio off at the same time. It's just held on by these little nuts that are right here on the outside, 5/8, and then it's just held on by this little brace right here. And shit, I might as well take the grill out, or the dash out too. So it's obviously just held in with these screws right here, and then it lifts forward. Of course, you'll have to disconnect everything on the inside there, so be careful on that and label everything if you're not sure where it goes. I'm going to be taking the ignition key out too, and these here rings will take off too, but this one's going to be too much of a drag to do because it connects up to the throttle linkage and all this kind of stuff. I don't want to hassle all that, so we'll do that later. So a couple of odd things about 62 is that they only had the idiot lights on at least the inexpensive models, and there wasn't a left and a right turn signal indicator. There was just one bulb down here that would blink irregardless if it was left or right. So kind of goofy, but maybe I'll see if I can exchange some parts out of Ron 61 and pretty this up a little bit. But what we'll also be doing is, since these have the idiot's light on there that aren't too accurate, we'll go and we'll get some of the small gauge clusters and stick underneath the dash. We'll have an actual accurate reading of our temperature and our oil pressure and our electrical. Alright, now I will show you how to take your steering wheel off and these little arms here. Horn button pries out, 3/4 inch nut on top. Okay, then we take all of our horn button relay stuff out. Now we take our nut and we put it back on so where it's flush with the shaft coming out. And the reason that we do that is when we put on our puller and we're trying to pull it off, if it slides off to the side, then it can ruin the threads. And then normally you're supposed to screw down on this center nut, but sometimes when you do that it'll slip off to the side. So a lot of times what I do is I tighten the nuts on the end. There we go. So first I'll shoot the rust mort anywhere that I still suspect there might be rust. So now I'll use some gray etching primer on the rest of the areas. Okay, so since I was just shooting primer around, I didn't really need to mask off anything because I know I'm going to be shooting a little bit of paint around the rest of it. When I shoot my color though, of course I'm going to mask this off. But we're going to leave this like it is right now. Eric will pick his colors and then we'll paint this on next time. So with what we've got left for the rest of the day, we'll clean up and repair our heater core. Okay, the heater core is really not held together by much. It's just a bunch of little 1/4 inch machine screws. So we'll just start taking this apart. And it's not that you have to take it apart this much in order to do the heater core. I just want to clean it up and paint it at the same time. Okay, well, our heater still, the fan still works, so that's good, but if you need to replace it, Brother sells those. Okay, so this is our heater core right here, and it's pretty common that they leak after quite a few years. So undo the 4 screws right here, and then that'll let the heater core come off. You can see that these are little brackets that help hold it on in the front and the back. So I shot my rust mort on everything, I let it dry up, and then I just shot some gloss paint on the inside of stuff. On the outside there, it was a kind of texturized gunmetal gray. Kind of looked like it's got a lot of orange peel in it. So I'll try to find some of that and we'll paint this up tomorrow, put it all back together, so we will see you all then.